Hey y'all, it's your girl Toyia T. And do we have a show for you today? I learned that Cincinnati is the seventh loneliest city in America, with 44% of our population here in Cincinnati being single. So this topic is really something that I think leans into that conversation a little bit. And I'm hoping that my guests will be able to share some information about their experiences that might help others navigate death, despair, and desperation. Our hosts, our guests will do a brief introduction of themselves, but I also need to make sure that I know that our platinum sponsor for this month is Leafy Products, which is a green toilet paper, the first Black-owned green toilet paper in the state of Ohio. So make sure you check out getleafyproducts.com. With that, I'd like to introduce my guests. Come on in for a conversation. Hello, good evening.
Hello,
Hello.
good evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
glad to have all of you guys here tonight to just talk through a very sensitive topic for me, something that's near and dear. And I want to make sure that our guests learn something from this episode, from our own experiences, to be able to take with them so that they may be able to utilize that information. Before we jump into it, I want you guys to introduce yourselves. Doesn't have to be anything major, just a brief introduction. And we're ladies first over here. So either one of the ladies, please introduce yourself. Did y'all freeze?
No,
Karma, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Karma Deneen. I am the CEO and founder of Next Level Counseling and Empowerment Center. I'm a licensed social worker slash therapist, as well as the founder of Saved and Still Dope Christian clothing brand. It is so nice to be here with you tonight. I appreciate everybody for joining us.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad to have you and can't wait to hear more from you.
Thank
Tasha, do you want to do a brief introduction as well?
sure. My name is Tasha Renee. Hello, everyone. I am a nurse. I've been a nurse since 2006. Um, I love nursing. Currently an assistant director of nursing. Um, and that's just about it for me.
All right. And last but certainly not least, Jeff, can you do a brief introduction?
Happy to. Nice to be here. Thank you very much, Toya, for inviting me. My name is Jeff Weiss. I am the founder and CEO of Symphony Advisors, which is a consulting firm based in Cincinnati. And prior to this, I spent 25 years at Procter and Gamble in finance, and I'm have gone through some stuff over the past few years, and looking forward to hearing everybody's perspective and sharing some of my own. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad to have you here, Jeff. And we all have gone through our own journeys professionally, but then we also have had our own journeys personally. And I just want us to give a chance to walk down some of those journeys that we've gone through. I know I'm a firm believer that tests in life are meant to become testimonies. And I know a lot of times when we're being tested, it's hard for us to see it become that testimony. Um, can someone share a time where they feel like they have been tested? And if they think that it could turn into a testimony, why or why not?
Well, I guess I can and share a little bit, and then maybe we can expound on this a little bit later or kind of go deeper into it. But just most recently, I feel I have had uh, a major or one of the major tests of life, of motherhood. February the 4th, 2023, my oldest and firstborn son was violently murdered and taken away from me, and his two daughters that are 3 and currently 18 months. And so um, I've had some challenges, I've had some struggles, I've had some tests, I've had testimonies, and things turn into testimonies. But this one here, of course, is extremely fresh, extremely new. Um, but I do believe that it will be used for testimony. Testimony that I don't know is, if I have even begun to put language to or to develop just yet. It's coming in bits and pieces, but I do know for without a shadow of a doubt, just per my experience and time here on earth, that it will definitely be turned into a major, impactful, life changing testimony.
Absolutely. Um, Anybody else have a situation where you feel like you've been tested?
Yes, I also had a child that was murdered in 2009. My daughter was 15. She was murdered in front of all of her friends in broad daylight by an 18-year-old boy. And I think just going through the trial and trying to remain calm and listening to everyone say it's about his rights when he took the life of my child, I didn't feel like he should have any rights. But that's one thing that they totally focus on during the hearing, and just trying to remain calm and keep my family calm and, you know, show the world that we were not the same type people as the man who did this to her. It was truly, truly hard. But since then, I've been able to help other people going through the same thing.
Okay, so you have been able to turn it into a testimony in some ways.
Yes, definitely.
Jeff, how about you?
Um, and my, what my test was much less than what both of you have gone through. I'm just sorry to hear both of the stories, both of the testimonies. I went through a divorce that has gone on for 9 to 10 years, and finally kind of working through it. And I'm not sure for me it's a good testimony because there were so many things that I should have done differently to approach it and to kind of make it better for both myself and my two daughters and my ex. But again, it's helped me think through and become better. I think, I hope. And more importantly, kind of create a better relationship with my daughters,
Mhm.
which is kind of what I want to make sure happens through as this we hopefully get it over. It's gone on for a long time. So
Right. Yeah, 10 years is a long time. I mean, my
yes,
divorce took 14 months and I was livid. I wanted it over like right now, today, at very second. But I will say that divorce was one of those situations that caused me to really look at other people's perspectives, maybe that I hadn't considered prior to getting divorced. I think it gave me another layer of who I am as a person that I would have never even thought to consider, I guess. It made me a little bit more empathetic about what it looks like to go through a divorce and how it changes the people that are in, that have gone through it. It's not like you're divorcing the same person that you married. I know for me, I was married, it was 14 years by the time the divorce was final, 12 when I left. And clearly we were two very different people going in than we were coming out. And so I think the testimony there is just really being able to empathize with other people's situations and be able to put yourself in another person's shoes, even if it's something that you've never experienced, to be able to just say, like, I can't relate, but when you can, it gets you that much closer to being able to be an advocate or be a resource or whatever they might look like. Um, so one of the other pieces that I wanted to talk about is how whatever your test might have been changed the way you felt about life or might have changed your belief system. Um, I think that a lot of times when we go through things, it causes us to call into question things that we thought we knew or that we always believed or whatever the case may have been. Is there an idea or belief that may have changed as a result of the test that you've gone through?
Yes, definitely. I used to believe more so in the justice system. I really don't anymore. Um, my daughter's killer was sentenced to 15 years to life. Um, which essentially he has the opportunity to get out in 15 years, which is 2 years from now. Um, and it made me look at the entire system totally different. I thought that, in that type of situation, the courts are sympathetic to the victims and things like that. And they're not. Their job is to protect the violator. Um, and you get to do a victim impact statement, but really, what is that? My daughter's killer was very focused on himself. And so I chose to not address him at all during my victim impact statement. And I pretty much thanked everybody who supported us and was there for us through everything that we had been through, and to not give him any attention at all.
Hmm. Is there a reason that they only gave him 15 years? Was that like?
So in Ohio, if you are charged with straight murder and there's no gun spec, the only charge you can get is 15 to life. He stabbed her with a knife in her back. So because there was no gun involved, there's not a gun spec.
Wow.
So
I
in
guess
Ohio, that's the only sentence they can give, is 15 to life, unless it's an aggravated murder or something else linked to the murder.
And so when they say 15 to life, he goes up for parole, or how does that, like, what does that look like?
So in 15 years, he can go up for parole. They can decide to let him out or not. The prosecutor is telling me that he'll do most of my life, but that's still not enough. I am a person who I did not want him to get the death penalty or anything like that. I wanted him to go to jail and to suffer. I felt like death was too easy. So that was something that I never considered, never wanted. But 15 to life is not a harsh enough sentence for the crime he committed. He killed her in front of all her friends and my oldest son. I watched her die. People she had babysat for, there were little kids outside. And these people will never be the same. They saw a traumatic um, incident. And all of these people, I believe, have PTSD. From her best friends to her worst enemies, were all outside.
Right,
So I just feel like it wasn't enough.
right. And so did that change, when you say it changed the way you looked at the justice system, did it make you have less, it made you trust the system less?
Yes, it made me trust the system less. I never want to sit on a jury. Before, I felt like I would do my due diligence. Just watching the way everything unfolded, I never want to be on a jury. I never want to, I don't want to have to go up and say why this man should stay in jail. That's another torture on the family. There should be no parole in a murder case. It's taking the family through the thing that they went through all over again. We shouldn't have to keep reliving it to keep this man locked up. It should be an automatic life, and that's it. My
Right.
family and I try to heal every single day. And there's people who don't understand. I have people who said, well, it's been since 2009. It doesn't matter when it's your child. It doesn't get worse. I mean, it doesn't get better. I'm sorry. But you just learn to cope, and you'll never be the person you were prior to the incident. That person is gone for my entire family.
Yeah. Well,
And
thanks for
then my
sharing
daughter
that.
had 3 brothers, so I also have to make sure that I'm teaching them to where if this man does get out, none of them will want to do anything to
Retaliate.
harm him because they have their own lives to live.
Right. Retaliation is definitely an area where you want to keep, although you don't trust the justice system, you also don't want to be having to deal with the aftermath of the justice system
Correct.
either. Right.
Correct.
Um,
And I felt like with my children being as young as they are, I just felt like more should have been done to support the children in the situation.
right.
I was grieving through my own stuff, so I probably wasn't thinking the way that I should have been as far as putting them in counseling and things like that. But I think there should have been like a social worker or somebody to say, hey, this is what we need to do next. and
Right.
that was never done. You know, if you never lived through something like this, you don't realize what it is that is going to happen later and what it is that you need help with because you've never
Mhm.
gone through it before.
Right. Right. I always say that once you've gone through an adversity, you're in a better situation to lead others through, whether it be divorce or death or, um, you know, God forbid, some type of, you know, you're being held at gunpoint or something like anything traumatic.
Hmm.
If you experience it, then you have something to go off of as opposed to somebody that hasn't experienced it because then they're completely going in blind.
Right.
Has anybody else experienced where it changed your beliefs, whatever your life event might have been?
Yeah, I could say that I think most parents have the stance of if anything ever happens to my child, you know, nothing really good usually comes after that when you think about or have the forethought of something happening to your child, especially at the hands of another human being. Um, I just could not have imagined. I think we used to watch the movie when we were younger, The Women of Brewster Place. And I believe her child got electrocuted. And I remember watching that as a young girl thinking, if I ever lost a child, I would be just like that. I just don't think that I would survive. I would live. I could manage to face another day. And she was totally pretty much paralyzed. I mean, she didn't eat, she didn't, get up. She was no longer a functioning part of society. As the movie portrayed. And I just remember having that thought, if that ever happened, I will be just like her. And it's almost been a year, but through this period, the belief that has changed for me is um that it's not up to me to decide that I'm going to check out on life. The thing that I have found in my years that has been most, I think I've spent most of my life looking for, searching for, running after, chasing after success and what that looks like for me. And the one thing that I found that has been most successful that I'm blessed to have found early is purpose. So for me to check out on life, check out on my gift, check out on what God has given me, and check out on purpose because life happened, because it, as we can see here, it hasn't just happened to me. It's not exclusive to just me. I'm not the first, the last, or the only mother, parent, that has or will experience this type of traumatic situation. And so, just to put it plainly, I have to tell myself every day, you don't get to die.
Yeah, I know in my situation, and I say it to other mothers, and Karma, I'd like to say it to you. And it sounds harsh, but when you think about it, it makes sense. And as much as we loved our children, we can't let their deaths be more important than our lives or the lives of our other children. We have to keep going because that's what they would want us to do. That's what God wants us to do, and that's what we have to want for ourselves.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Right.
that's a hard pill to swallow,
Mhm.
but thank
Yeah,
you for that.
you're welcome.
What have been some of your techniques that have helped you cope, or strategies that have helped you kind of get over the trauma? Because I think divorce is traumatic. I think losing a child is traumatic. These are traumatic events, and we all have to have some ways to deal, some strategies that might help. I know for me, I do a lot of meditating because sometimes I just have, like, I get to a point where my ex-husband pushes my last button, the last little button that I have. I have an 8-year-old, and sometimes he's just vindictive just because he's still upset or whatever the case may be. And so sometimes I just have to meditate and just be like, you know what? I'm not gonna let you take me there today. So whatever it is that you planned on doing, I'm just going to go over here and meditate in this moment so that I don't lose it on you. And instead, I'm able to just kind of bring myself back to center and also just leave whatever it is on the floor and just give it to God. Like I'm not going to do this. I'm going to give it to God so he can just handle it and I don't have to worry. What are some other strategies that you guys utilize?
One thing I started doing more recently is listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts in the
I
morning.
love her.
Yes, yes. I listen to her every morning. I get out before I get out of bed, I pray. I ask God for guidance. Um, and then I listen to her, and somehow God always guides me to which sermon I'll need to listen to for that day. Um, and it just helps me get through the day, try to be kind to other people, realize that everybody's been through something.
Yes.
Um, and sometimes people act the way they do or nasty or vindictive or whatever the case may be because of what they've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to use more empathy when dealing with other people now.
What about you, Jeff? You've been quiet up there.
The it's just I have two daughters, so hearing the stories is I mean this is powerful. I think for me it was kind of the key was kind of dial a friend, kind of get a conciliary, somebody to help you who was direct, was open, was honest, would give you guidance and help you think about how to process it, how to get through it. Um, and and not just any friend. It was somebody who had gone through something similar, and I think that helped a lot because it was almost like my own personal, not even therapist, because we also saw a family therapist to get not for my ex-wife and I, but for my daughters and I to work through it. But I think that kind of dial a friend, have that person who, hey, I'm here to help you get through this.
Right.
That helped me a lot. That helped me a lot.
So commune with other people that either have gone through it or can at least relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think in addition to you going through a divorce, maybe a child or somebody that went through divorce as a child, sometimes they can relate just the same because they saw their parents go through it.
That's true. Yeah.
What about you, Carmen? We got 5 minutes left.
5 minutes left, sure. So for me, process, I think me being a therapist and already just studying and having the experience of the positive psychology, the self-awareness, teaching these things on a very regular basis, helped me to be already have a good foundation. I practice what I preach, and so I'm not out here telling people to do things that I don't do or haven't implemented in my life. I think what has allowed me to cope has been allowing myself the grace and the freedom to be authentically me. So if I'm sad, I'm sad. If I'm mad, I'm mad. If I got something to say, I got something to say. If I don't, I won't. If I need to cry, I take time to cry. If I need to show up late, I show up late. If I need to cancel, I do. If I come in and I can take it, I will. If not, then God will provide.
Right.
And I've just found that this season has been a season of tremendous grace, where God has shown me that He'll send the ravens to feed me, to bless me, to provide for me. And that's very different when you're used to being extremely independent. Um, but I have seen the seasons change, the people that may not have been there in a previous season completely show up for me in ways that I've prayed for or haven't, wouldn't imagine would be there to support me through the season to get me through. And what I've had to do though, which is what a lot of people struggle with, especially if you are the strong person or the strong friend in the family, is we give well, but we don't receive well. And so allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to be dependent, allowing yourself to sit back and relax and let somebody else take care of you has been, an interesting journey within itself, but taking advantage of this season to be able to rest and to take care of me. And so that has been some of the things that I have been implementing during this season, not focusing so much on work, not focusing so much on business, but really being present. For, I think Tasha said, I wish I would have had a social worker or someone to come in, because I was going through my own, grief and trying to process. Sometimes you miss the signs, you miss what's going on with your children. People ask me all the time, how the boys doing? How the boys doing? How the boys doing? I'm like, I think they fine.
Right.
They look fine. They're still thriving, but that doesn't mean that they're not struggling. And so I allow to have different sets of eyes on me. I allow people to come over and knock on my door. I allow people to check in and to, just be open, honest, and transparent with me about, so sometimes if people don't hear me from a couple of days, it's like, hey, what you doing? Get up, girl, get up.
Right.
That Sarah Jakes that you mentioned, Tasha, girl, get up.
Yes.
Yes, you
Get
are
up.
birthday party. Yes, we are celebrating you. Yes, you are going to. My son's birthday was December the 4th, and it took me forever to figure out how to celebrate him and not to just wallow in misery for the day. But like Tasha said, if I think back on what he would want me to do, he would be like, Mama, live. And so I got up and went to one of his favorite places. And, like Jeff said, I called, one of the people that I knew that was going to be down for the ride, which was his aunt, my sister. And she's like, wherever you are, that's where I'll be. And that's what we did. We celebrated him on the beach with his brothers, and we came back and had a birthday party just the same day. Got off the plane, same night, invited all his friends, and had a birthday party and a dinner, and kept the tradition going, which is something that he would have done, and I know he was smiling down on. So just kind of having somewhat of a sense of normalcy. You being who you are, true to yourself, and being okay with not being okay.
Right.
Being okay.
And know that there's a time and a place for every piece of it, right? I know that we're out of time, but I do appreciate you all sharing your time with us, sharing your perspective. If you want to give contact information, you can go around. Karma, do you want to give any contact information? I know you're a therapist, so someone might need some therapy.
Yeah, so that's the thing that's blown me through this. I'm like, I'm really going into work like me, and I can't believe that people even sign up to come and see me. But it's really been the opposite. You can't count yourself out. I've had so many people say, I've seen your testimony, I've seen you share, I've heard the news, and I figure if you can do this, then I can definitely do what it is that I need to do. And so my business has grown, my clients have increased, practice has grown. That's a testimony within itself right there.
Absolutely.
And so people come to see me, and I'm just real about it. I'm like, now listen, and so it's an amazing thing. God is amazing. The resilience. And so you can reach me at Poppy's Therapeutic Corner. You can find that on Facebook, Google it. That's where I am. That's where you can find me. And then you can also find me at savedandstilldope.com if you want to check out any of the other things that I do, any of the other ministries. I'm sure I'll be launching something again next year. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you for coming. Tasha, any contact information?
Yeah, my Gmail is Tasha R. Elliott at gmail.com. And then my Facebook name is Natasha Mack.
And Jeff, last but not least.
And I forget what I gave. Did I give my email or did I give? Oh, I think I gave both. So
email and phone.
feel free
You
to
want to talk
contact
to
me.
Jeff. He also has a consulting firm.
That's right.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys joining tonight. It was a great conversation. And definitely keep on living and keep on being true to yourself.
Thank you, Toyia. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Meeting you guys.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Today's episode of The Plug is sponsored by the following companies. At the platinum level, we have Leafy Products. Leafy Products is the first Black-owned sustainable toilet paper company in Ohio. Do your part to go green and stay clean. Purchase today at getleafyproducts.com. At the gold level, we have Alpha Wolf Aerials. Alpha Wolf Aerials offers unparalleled aerial photography, videography, inspection, and search and rescue services. Elevate your perspective with their cutting-edge technology and commitment to excellence, ensuring high-quality results for all your aerial needs. Connect with them on Instagram at alpha_wolf_aerials and discover the difference with Alpha Wolf Aerials, mastering the sky, leading the pack. At the silver level, we have Testament Tees. Testament Tees seamlessly fuses contemporary style with timeless wisdom, offering high-quality garments that embody God's inspiration and humor through intricate designs and thought-provoking slogans. Empower your wardrobe with values and laughter. Testament Tees, where style meets spirit. For more information or to place an order, go to testamenttees.redbubble.com. Last but certainly not least, at the bronze level, we have Today's Mail. Today's Mail is a local and over-the-road, on-demand, and scheduled delivery service who provides safe and sufficient deliveries. They can be reached at 513-300-0546 for all your local and over-the-road delivery needs. The Plug thanks all of our sponsors for helping us keep you connected.